So that life giver that you've come to love and you learned so much from, what if I tell you that I started out of boredom and having internet? And the goal is not every big thing starts big. Sometimes big things starts by accident. Welcome to another episode of These Thoughts at 30. I almost forgot this for a bit. All right, so yes, this is These Thoughts at 30, and I just thought about it 30 for a bit. I was like, dude, you're crazy. You're getting old. All right, let's get into it. So I'm sharing today's story or today's experience. Of course, this happened on the 4th of January 2013. It was my 5th year in school. We just resumed second semester. And I'm sharing this because a lot of times I've seen people throw away what could potentially have grown into something big just because it didn't start big like some other things they've heard. And they've heard some people share their, success story and like, man, I had a dream, and in that dream, the dream went on for 24 hours. Then I saw angels ascending and descending and writing, or someone said, I had 18-hour vision. And not to invalidate those experiences, sometimes big things or things that eventually grow big sometimes start very small. Sometimes they start out as like without the intention or the plan of it being something big. And so this is the life giver story. How did life giver come to be? So the day before, like before resuming school, the day before, I did a Bible study, and I think I was studying Hebrews chapter 3 and chapter 4. And there's this thing I learned. I saw Pastor Red doing it, like he would fold an A4, plain A4 sheets into two, like jot into it and stuff. Like the habit to pick up was weird. So I did the same thing. I jotted it. It was a really good study. Then next day, resuming school. I know first day of resumption in school, you don't do anything, and because there are not so many people in school. If you attend a university, you can relate to what I'm saying. The internet is always normally fast. That's the fastest the internet is in your life experience. So, I've downloaded stuff, I've done everything, and now I'm bored. I know there'll be welcome assembly later in the evening, but I wasn't doing anything. And I saw the jotting I made the day before, and I just thought about it. I was like, Tolu, okay, you write, or you started writing, and in 20 years, where will all these journals be? Where will these notes be? And I'm like, I can't be carrying journals up and down. That time we used to like nice looking journals, cool journals. But I'm like, how many books can I carry up and down? Not everybody of us will be like Papa that can carry, Papa used to show us all the journals we're using. I'm like, things have gone digital, except there's maybe a digital apocalypse or something where all power goes off or internet disappears. Type this thing, save it on the internet. Then in 20, 60, 30 years, you can always have access to it. That was how Life Giver started. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me type this thing. Let me share my thoughts. Also, prior to that time, in Korean University, I'd been in one chaplaincy or the other. So almost from like my 100 level to like my 400 level, I always had a platform where I'm teaching, I'm speaking, I'm this or that, coordinator, chaplain, blah, blah, blah. But my final year, I didn't really have any platform to talk again. But I still felt like I had something to share. So I was like, you know what, Tolu, just write this thing down, put them on the internet, and anyone that cares to read, let them read. I remember the year before, I was talking with a friend of mine, Success, Ajayi Bayo, and we're talking about blogging because that was the era of the bloggers, the Olori Supergirl, the Bella Naija, the of course Linda Ikeji, who forgets. So, and I was like, no, everybody's opening blog. I won't join the bandwagons of bloggers. But just less than a year after, I started it. But I didn't start it with it being anything. I started it with just the mind of me stirring up my thoughts, and anyone that cares to read should read. I remember I made the first post, I made the second post. The first two posts were from the study I did. If you still go go to the very beginning, but you have to scroll through like 2,000 articles. I mean, that's a lot. But yeah, you still see those articles, they're still there. And I just started sharing with some of my friends who around me, Kenneth and Banisi and some other people. And they were like, oh my God, they were blessed. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then someone was like, I started receiving comments. Like, where have you kept all this gift all this while? Like, you can really write. I'm like, really, I can write? I never thought I could write. I knew I could talk, but I never knew I could write. And it just kept going on. Oh my God, this blessed me. Wow, I learned so much. This touched me. And all the comments and feedbacks made me realize that there was something to this thing. And like, if God was using this platform I might as well continue. And everyone around me that time, felt the heat of it. My roommate, Don aka, okay, that's what I used to call him, Akinwumi Bello, was my roommate for a wilder period, and I always used to be to help me edit because I knew my English wasn't so good, like me edit, So that was it. I took it seriously, and for the first year, some months I'll write maybe like 23 articles, some months I'll write just like 6, depending on how crazy schoolwork is. But that was how life was all of the first year. Second year, starting from NYSC camp, I met this friends in school. We met in camp, and her name is Belumi. And Belumi was like, "Oh, Tolu, have you thought of sharing people's experiences on the blog? Just share people's experience. We like to read stories and real life experiences." And she wrote the first one. And the first one she wrote was an experience she had in camp about 2 girls were fighting, and the one was talking about like she doesn't have to be, she doesn't have to be the only woman for a man as long as she's number one. And that was that was a claim. That's how Damage Story actually started, and that was the first episode of the Damage Stories. And that was the second year of the blog, and we actually had like increase. And fast forward, we've had a merchandise line, we had internet radio that ran for 2 years, we had a media consult, we had a period in which we had like maybe like 12 staff, and this is starting like past tense. We're still doing great things, yeah. Bigger things are still coming, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's just continue. So the whole purpose of this is that platform that today has now become a thing that people are actually being blessed by. One of the most shocking, one of the biggest comments or testimonies I've had from Live was someone that she said she was literally contemplating suicide, and someone just shared the article on her status, and it was just what she needed. I've seen many people say, it's as if you guys are anticipating my thoughts, and you're addressing it. And that platform has come to help many people over the years. Started out of boredom and having internet, So anything, that reminds me of that scripture that says, anything you find to do with all your power. It doesn't mean you have to force every small thing to become big, but if you see something that is working, someone being blessed by it, just go ahead and do it. If you have an opportunity to intern somewhere, you have an opportunity to visit a place. A lot of times I believe that God brings opportunity our ways, and sometimes you don't even know what the opportunity is going to grow into. So just give it your best, do your best at that time, and just might never know. So to everybody that you have an idea right now that nobody knows anything about, that's fine, just keep at it. It might be for a season, it might be forever, and that's another thing I'm going to be sharing in another episode, how sometimes it's okay to quit. Like I said, that we had Live Giver Radio, I stopped it, and to some people it might look like failure, but that's story for another day. So, but while you have it, keep at it. While you have it, keep at it. So the summary is, don't invalidate what you have just because it's small or didn't start out like many other popular success stories you've heard. Hope you learned something. And for Life Giver, bigger things are coming. Like I said earlier this year, we are growing into a media company, and I literally can't wait. Right now we're planning on, should I tell you guys the plan? Anyways, if God has lit it upon your heart, just send me like billions of dollars or naira, please go ahead and do it. We're getting a studio space and doing many other big things. So I literally can't wait for this to grow into to step into the bigger vision that God is calling it to do. All right, so this is long already. Watch previous ones, watch the next ones. This is City Thoughts at 30. Remember to share, like, and subscribe.